What if the path to millionaire status isn't a legit one as it seems? Could bold claims of financial success be masking something else entirely? Today, we dive into the rise of Luke Belmar, a journey that's as captivating as it's controversial. Is it brilliance, luck, or something far more complex? So who is Luke Belmar? You may have heard of him on social media. This young entrepreneur, originally from a small village in Argentina, is known for his remarkable success in crypto and e-commerce. Luke's journey is the type of story that makes you think, is this real? Here's a guy who supposedly came to the United States at just 16 with $200 in his pocket. Fast forward a few years, and he's setting up a revolutionary $40 million business empire? Really? Now, Luke markets himself as a modern-day success guru, promising to help people achieve financial freedom outside the confines of traditional work. Through his private community, Capital Club, he offers people a taste of the financial success he claims to have mastered. But is everything really as it seems? That's the million-dollar question, or more accurately, the $40 million question. Luke's story isn't just compelling, it taps into something universal, the desire for freedom. And not just any freedom, but financial freedom, the type that lets you live on your terms. Imagine having that kind of autonomy. No boss, no 9 to 5, just you and your empire. Luke presents himself as someone who achieved precisely that, fueling a dream many people find irresistible. Think about it. He claims he came to the US with only $200, yet now he boasts a lifestyle most can only dream of. But does the Cinderella story stand up to scrutiny? His humble beginnings have been portrayed so well that some even call him a financial magician. But is it real magic or just a clever illusion? If you look closer, his journey from small-town Argentina to the heart of the American dream feels almost too perfect. He's positioned as this underdog, the guy with nothing who fought his way to the top. And let's be honest, that storyline is addictive. Who wouldn't root for him? It's relatable, powerful, and tugs at your emotions. However, let's take a step back and think about what stories like these often miss out on. Financial success, especially on this level, usually involves a lot of networking, connections, and capital. So how did a 16-year-old fresh to a country end up meeting the right people and making the right moves? The steps he skipped in his narrative might be the most crucial ones. And there's the question of luck. Luke's story is filled with calculated risk-taking, but in any financial success, luck plays a significant role. Yet his tale often glosses over luck as if it's a negligible factor. Why? Because admitting luck breaks the illusion of control, and Luke's brand is all about control over one's financial destiny. What makes Luke's story so appealing? Well, people love a good zero-to-hero story, don't they? The idea of rising from humble beginnings, beating the odds, and becoming rich is basically a modern fairy tale. But the thing is, these stories aren't always true. Luke's narrative, like many others, taps into our deep-seated hope that we too can find a hidden path to wealth. But there's more to it than just storytelling. Luke uses carefully crafted messages that feel relatable yet exclusive. He portrays himself as an outsider, a guy who didn't want to conform to the usual paths of school and 9 to 5 jobs. Instead, he's the rogue, the rebel who went his own way and struck gold. People love that anti-establishment vibe. It's like he's saying, I cracked the code to success, and you can too if you just follow me. This everyman narrative is key. It makes people trust him more. He's not some polished billionaire in a suit. He's just like them, or at least that's just how he wants to seem. Clever, right? So let's talk about the Capital Club. This is Luke's so-called private network aimed at aspiring entrepreneurs who want to learn how to generate and preserve wealth. He first launched it with a hefty membership fee of up to $15,000, positioning it as something truly exclusive. The idea was to create a decentralized hub for people who want to learn the secrets of wealth. But later, he lowered the entry fee to $369 per year, probably to get more people to join. This shift raises an interesting question. If the club is such a valuable secret to wealth, why make it so affordable all of a sudden? Is he trying to make it accessible, or is he just casting a wider net? Capital Club is marketed as this exclusive, almost underground hub where members can tap into wealth secrets not available elsewhere. Luke portrays it as the antidote to traditional education, where practical, real-world financial knowledge is at the forefront. But when you start peeling back the layers, is it really all it's hyped up to be? Initially, Capital Club's high membership fee of $15,000 added to its exclusive image. This hefty price tag seemed to suggest that only the most serious, dedicated future millionaires were allowed in. Yet, as the price dropped drastically, many started wondering if the exclusivity was just a tactic to build allure. After all, what's special about a club that suddenly becomes affordable for anyone? Now, with the entry fee set at $369 per year, it's clear Luke is widening the net. But why the change? Is it a strategic move to create a community of financially empowered people, or is it simply about getting more people and their cash into the club? Capital Club's business model also brings up another concern: sustainability. If the main revenue comes from membership fees, then the club constantly gets new members to keep the cash flow going. This structure is worryingly similar to that of multi-layer marketing schemes, where the value isn't so much in the product as it is in recruiting new participants. And with the rise of multi-level marketing in self-improvement circles, many people are wondering if Capital Club's setup is veering dangerously close to a pyramid scheme. Luke's promotional materials encourage members to recruit others, promising rewards for expanding the network. But should a financial empowerment club rely so heavily on recruitment? It raises questions about whether members are truly there to learn or simply to fund the system. Let's face it, the promise of quick, easy money is hard to resist. Luke's platform taps into this perfectly. Who wouldn't want to be financially independent, especially when there's someone promising that it's achievable without having to go through years of grind? Luke's story suggests that his methods bypass traditional education and job structures, making it sound like an exclusive path. The idea is you don't need a degree, you just need Luke's insights. It's a classic hook. But here's something to think about. When was the last time you saw anyone reach wealth overnight without serious risk, effort, and, well, maybe a bit of luck? It's rare. The promise of quick, easy money without the usual grind is appealing to just about anyone, and that's precisely why Luke's get-rich-quick approach works so well. He positions himself as a guy who has figured it out, making it seem like wealth is right around the corner, just waiting for his followers to reach out and grab it. But let's think about that promise for a second. Wealth doesn't typically happen overnight. For most people, financial independence is the result of years of careful planning, risk management, and strategic investment. Yet Luke's model seems to bypass all of this, instead suggesting there's a shortcut to success. This isn't just a sales pitch, it's a psychological pull. People want to believe they're one step away from freedom, that they can find a backdoor out of financial success, and Luke knows this. He markets Capital Club as a pathway to freedom without the sacrifice, which makes it hard for some people to resist. The real risk here is the emotional investment. People who buy into this dream often aren't just investing money, they're putting their hopes and faith into it. When you're emotionally invested, it's even harder to take a step back and question things. The need to believe often overshadows logic, and here's the irony. While Luke positions his path as anti-establishment, the techniques he uses, hooks, promises, and exclusivity, are classic sales tactics. They're the same pathological triggers that big corporations use, yet Luke brands them as liberating. Really? Let's dig into one of Luke's more controversial ventures, the Divine Anarchy NFT project. Now, for those of you who don't know, NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are digital assets that have been gaining popularity, especially in the world of digital art and collectibles, but they're also notoriously risky. Luke's project, Divine Anarchy, was supposed to be a groundbreaking community-driven NFT initiative. However, things didn't go as planned. At first, Luke's followers were excited. Here was a new frontier, a project that promised to be more than just a digital asset. It was supposed to be a community, a movement. But then, in a technical mishap, gas fees shot up, costing members over $2 million in unexpected charges. Luke attributed this to a development error, calling it an unfortunate mistake. However, for many who invested, this mistake felt like a betrayal. After all, a lot of people trusted Luke with their money and believed he had the expertise to avoid such pitfalls. Crypto is inherently volatile, but many of Luke's followers didn't seem to understand just how risky these projects could be. While he advertised divine anarchy as a revolutionary opportunity, the reality was that they were entering a high-stakes, unpredictable market with little protection if things went wrong. The fallout from divine anarchy left a lot of people questioning Luke's ability or perhaps his integrity. Could he have done more to ensure the project's security? Was the community truly prepared for the risks? It's a reminder that in crypto, things can go wrong very quickly and with serious consequences. Now here's where it gets even more intriguing. Luke doesn't just rely on storytelling, he relies heavily on social proof. Ever noticed how many influencers have large followings, tons of likes, and flashy testimonials? That's because it builds trust. When you see someone with thousands of followers and people praising them, you start to think maybe they're legit. Luke uses this technique to full effect. His social media presence is filled with success stories and testimonials from people who claim his guidance changed their lives. But how many of these testimonials are real? Remember the time Luke sparked a little controversy by endorsing psychedelic mushrooms? In an interview, he suggested that mushrooms could be beneficial for self-discovery. Now, psychedelics are a topic of debate in the wellness world, but for an influencer with a young, impressionable audience, this was a bit out there. The psychedelic mushroom endorsement may have seemed harmless to some, but it's actually part of a larger trend of influencers pushing boundaries to stay relevant. Luke's stance on mushrooms as a tool for self-discovery wasn't just a casual opinion, it was a calculated move. When he recommended mushrooms to his followers, especially with an audience that includes younger fans, it raised eyebrows. It's one thing to encourage personal growth, but endorsing psychedelics without caution shows a lack of responsibility. Not everyone is ready for that level of experimentation, and without proper context, such endorsements can be risky. Later, Luke admitted that he sometimes uses these statements to spark controversy and go viral. But here's the issue: the impact of such statements goes beyond a simple viral moment. Followers could take its advice literally, believing that mushrooms are a quick fix for personal transformation. Influencers wield more power than we might think, and their words carry weight. When Luke makes statements about topics as sensitive as psychedelics, he walks a fine line between expression and influence. For young or impressionable followers, the consequences could be significant. This episode isn't just a quirky side story in Luke's career. It's a reflection of a broader influencer culture where statements are made for impact rather than accuracy. For someone with a large following, that's a dangerous game. Here's an interesting twist. Luke's brother Nate was also involved in some attempts to make it big in the US. Unlike Luke, Nate tried his hand at modeling, but it didn't quite work out. There are even claims that Luke tried to have an old interview of Nate's removed from the internet, offering money to get it taken down. Some speculate that Nate's more modest story doesn't fit with the success narrative Luke is carefully crafting. After all, an underdog family's rise to fame is easier to sell if every family member appears successful. But the truth is often messier than that. Trying to erase Nate's old interviews suggests that Luke's narrative isn't entirely transparent. Instead, it points to a level of image curation that borders on manipulation. It's like he's building a family brand where every detail must align with a success story. In the digital age, attempting to scrub history is tricky. Old interviews and records have a way of resurfacing, and fans or critics might catch on to inconsistencies. Luke's attempts to polish his family's public image only add to the mystery, and for some, the skepticism. Luke has appeared on podcasts and collaborated with influencers in finance and entrepreneurship. These appearances expand his reach, but also sometimes expose certain viewpoints that can be divisive. It's like he walks a line between sharing genuine tips and sparking controversy. Another layer to his approach is how he controls his narrative, strategically revealing and omitting details to create a specific image. Luke keeps his early life and family background mostly private, sharing only selective parts of his story. This curated approach makes his background appear more mysterious, making people curious and, in some cases, more trusting. It's as if he's telling just enough to be intriguing without showing the full picture, which in turn allows followers to fill in the gaps with assumptions. Luke's selective storytelling has a purpose. By omitting struggles or setbacks, he maintains an illusion of continuous success. It reinforces his image as a flawless financial guide who didn't stumble along the way. But is it realistic for anyone to become a millionaire without facing challenges? If there were such a perfect path to wealth, wouldn't everyone be following it? In the world of quick financial gains, there are a few important lessons to keep in mind. First, always look beyond the story, whether it's zero to hero or get rich fast. Ask yourself, is this too good to be true? Because often it is. Second, be skeptical of social proof. Just because someone has a lot of followers or testimonials doesn't mean their claims are valid. And finally, remember that true financial success usually doesn't happen overnight. It takes work, discipline, and yes, sometimes a bit of failure along the way. Luke Belmar's story might sound like the ultimate rags to riches story, but as we've explored, there's a lot more to it. It's a reminder to stay vigilant, do your research, and not let the allure of quick success cloud your judgment. The world of online business and crypto is filled with both real opportunities and potential traps, and knowing the difference can save you from a lot of trouble. Do you think Luke's story is genuine, or is there more beneath the surface? Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share your thoughts in the comments below.